There is a reason why no matter how much you accomplish, something still feels missing. It's not because you haven't done enough. It's not because you need to try harder. It's because you've forgotten the most important connection of all, the connection to your source. At the core of every soul is a deep longing to feel whole again, to return to the quiet presence that brought you into this world. This isn't just about feeling spiritual, it's about remembering who you really are. You are not your problems. You are not your past. You are not your possessions. You are a piece of something divine. And when you forget that, life starts to feel heavy, draining, confusing. Most people walk through life thinking they are disconnected because the world is broken. They think they need to fix everything around them, get more money, improve their health, repair relationships, find meaning in jobs or status. But the truth is, all those things are reflections. They mirror back to you your inner state. When the connection to Source is weak, the world appears unstable. When the connection is strong, life begins to feel guided. It becomes peaceful. Not because the world changed, but because you remembered. And what's beautiful is that this connection has never left you. It's still inside you right now, waiting. It's not a religion or a ritual. It's not reserved for the few. Every human being is born with it. You came into this world completely connected to the source of love, peace, and wisdom. But somewhere along the way, noise replaced silence. Fear replaced faith. You stopped listening inward. You started searching outward. That's where the separation began. But you can come back. You can feel the shift, not by chasing something outside, but by simply turning inward and remembering what was always yours. That deep peace, that still presence, that whisper that says, "I've been here all along." No matter how good things look on the outside, if you're not connected to Source, life will eventually feel hollow. You might have achievements, money, success, and even love, but deep down, there's an ache that you can't explain. A quiet voice that says, something's missing. That emptiness isn't a failure. It's a signal. It's your soul trying to wake you up, trying to remind you that all the external things will never take the place of your inner connection. When you are disconnected from Source, nothing feels stable. Your emotions swing from high to low. You may feel constantly worried, anxious, or restless. Even when something good happens, the feeling doesn't last. There's a constant pressure to do more, to be more, to chase the next thing. But what you're really craving isn't more, it's peace, real peace. The kind that can't be shaken by your bank account or a bad day. The kind that stays with you even in the middle of chaos. That kind of peace only comes from reconnecting to your source. You may also notice that when you're disconnected, small problems feel huge. A comment from someone can ruin your whole day. A delay or a setback feels like a disaster. That's because you've been trying to carry everything by yourself. You've forgotten that you're not alone. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world. Source energy was meant to flow through you, to support you, to guide you. When that flow is blocked, life feels heavy. But when you open up again, everything shifts. Even your relationships change when you reconnect. You stop needing people to complete you or fix you. You start loving from a place of wholeness, not desperation. You stop chasing people who can't see your worth. You stop trying to prove yourself because you already feel enough. You already feel supported. That is the power of connection. When you're aligned with Source, life may still have challenges, but you stop feeling lost. You stop feeling like everything is out of control. You begin to trust again, not just in life, but in your own journey. That trust brings a calmness, a quiet strength. It's not loud, it doesn't shout, but it carries you. So if you've been feeling drained, confused, or out of sync, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you've been disconnected from the one thing that matters most. You don't need to fix everything, you just need to reconnect. When you do, the rest begins to realign. Source is not far away. It's not in the sky or hidden behind some spiritual wall. Source is the silent energy behind all life. It's the loving awareness that created you, and it lives inside you right now. It's the gentle force that holds everything together, your breath, your heartbeat, the movement of the stars, the rise of the sun. It doesn't judge, it doesn't punish, it simply flows. It is always present, always patient, always waiting for you to notice. People often misunderstand source. They think it belongs to religion, or that you have to earn it through perfection or rituals. But the truth is, you are never separate from it. You don't need to become better to connect. You just need to become quiet. The more you try to chase source with your mind, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you become still, when you let go, when you stop trying to get somewhere, that's when it reveals itself. Imagine a river. When the water is still, you can see your reflection clearly. But when it's stirred by fear, stress, or constant movement, the image becomes distorted. That's what happens when you forget your source. You still have access to all its beauty and guidance, but the noise of the world makes it hard to hear. So you begin to doubt, you begin to panic, you begin to feel alone. But here's the truth, you are not alone. You never were. The voice of Source has always been speaking to you, in the quiet moments, in your dreams, in your heart. It speaks softly, like a breeze through trees. It's not loud because it doesn't need to be. It waits until you're ready to listen. And the moment you do, it welcomes you back with open arms. Source doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't ask you to never feel fear or sadness. In fact, it understands your pain deeply. It only asks that you return, that you remember, that you stop looking outward and instead come home to the part of you that has never been broken. So what does it mean to truly connect with Source? It means remembering that you are more than your body, your mistakes, your past. It means living from a deeper place, a place of stillness, trust, and love. It means allowing that love to guide your actions, your words, your choices. It means trusting that you are supported even when you don't understand what's happening. Connecting to Source is the most natural thing in the world. It's not something you do, it's something you allow. It's like removing a mask you didn't know you were wearing. Underneath the mask is your real self, the one who has always been connected, always been enough, always been loved. When you begin to see life from this place, everything shifts. The world becomes softer. People become mirrors, not threats. Problems become teachers, and your heart begins to lead. This is not a fantasy. It's not reserved for special people. It's a return to your original state. It's what you were born with. It's what you were meant to remember. And the beautiful part? You can begin right now. When you are no longer connected to Source, everything in life starts to feel harder than it should. Even the smallest tasks feel heavy. You wake up tired even after sleeping. Your days feel like routines you have to survive instead of experiences to enjoy. You try to motivate yourself, but it feels forced. You push through, but nothing flows naturally. That's not laziness. It's a sign of spiritual fatigue. It's what happens when your energy is no longer flowing from within. Without Source, the mind takes over, and the mind is loud. It's filled with worries, what-ifs, and doubts. It focuses on the past or races ahead to the future, never allowing you to be present. You can't hear your intuition clearly anymore. You question yourself, overthink, and often feel confused about what step to take next. Life becomes a maze instead of a path. You can't see where you're going because you're moving without your internal compass. Relationships also start to suffer when you're disconnected. You become more reactive, more defensive, or more withdrawn. You either give too much or pull away too fast. You expect others to fill a space inside you that they can't touch. You rely on them for your happiness, and when they fail to meet that need, you feel abandoned. This isn't because you're broken, it's because you've lost contact with the part of you that never needed fixing, the part of you that feels whole when it's in alignment with Source. Even creativity begins to fade. When you are disconnected, you stop feeling inspired. You may try to force results, but the spark is missing. That's because true inspiration doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from being open to receive. When Source flows through you, ideas come like whispers. Solutions arrive in silence. You begin to act from a place of knowing instead of guessing. Disconnection can also bring a deep sense of loneliness. Even in a room full of people, you feel unseen. That's because you're not longing for attention. You're longing for alignment. You're not craving approval. You're craving presence, that quiet reassurance that says, you are already enough. You don't have to prove anything. That voice comes from Source, and only Source. So many people try to fix the symptoms, buying things, chasing goals, running toward one more achievement. But the root of their suffering is spiritual. They've forgotten the truth that peace, joy, and meaning come not from the outside, but from within. And within, Source is always waiting, always willing, always ready to flow back into your life the moment you invite it in. The struggle isn't a punishment, it's a reminder, a sacred nudge that tells you it's time to pause, to turn inward, to come back home. When you do, you'll feel a lightness return to your steps. You'll begin to breathe deeper, sleep better, and smile without effort. That's the difference Source makes. It turns survival into sacred living. Everything you experience in life is a mirror of what's going on inside you. This doesn't mean you cause bad things to happen. It simply means that how you respond to life is shaped by what you carry within. When your inner world is cluttered with fear, stress, and doubt, the world outside seems chaotic. But when your inner world is calm, open, and full of trust, life feels more manageable, even in the middle of challenges. Think of your inner world as the lens through which you see everything. If the lens is cloudy, you can't see clearly. If it's clean, the picture becomes brighter. Source energy acts like a light that clears that lens. It doesn't remove every problem from your path, but it changes how you see them. Problems stop feeling like punishments and start feeling like opportunities to grow. Setbacks stop being the end and become part of your transformation. When you are connected to Source, your emotions shift. You feel a quiet confidence, even if you don't know what's coming next. You stop needing to control everything because you trust that life is unfolding with purpose. You may still face storms, but inside, there is a stillness that remains untouched. This doesn't come from pretending to be strong. It comes from knowing you are supported by something greater than yourself. Your body also reflects your inner connection. When you're aligned, your body feels lighter. Your breath deepens. You feel more energized, more present. You stop rushing and start savoring. Food tastes better. Walks feel sacred. The ordinary becomes meaningful. That's not because the world changed, but because you did. One powerful way to check your connection is to observe your thoughts. Are they rooted in fear or love? Are they heavy or light? Are they rushing or resting? Source speaks in the language of peace. When you hear thoughts of worry, separation, or guilt, know that these are not from Source. They are from the mind that has forgotten its deeper truth. But the good news is, you can always return. One conscious breath, one moment of stillness, one simple prayer is enough to reopen the path. What you focus on inside becomes the tone of your life. If you constantly think the world is against you, you'll interpret events that way. If you start to believe the world is working with you, you'll begin to notice little signs of support. That's how powerful your inner world is. It doesn't just color your reality, it shapes it. This is why connecting with Source is not just a spiritual idea, it's a practical choice. It's a decision that changes how you live, how you feel, and how you experience everything. When your inner world becomes a place of love, faith, and peace, your outer world begins to reflect it, slowly, gently, but always faithfully. In a noisy world, stillness can feel uncomfortable at first. We're used to filling every moment with movement, scrolling, talking, planning, or worrying. But stillness is where Source lives. It's not in the noise, it's in the pause. It's in the silence between your thoughts. It's in that quiet space where you remember what really matters. Stillness is not about sitting for hours in meditation or following strict rituals. It's about creating small, sacred spaces throughout your day where you stop doing and start being. It can be a few minutes in the morning before your day begins. It can be the moment you turn off distractions and simply breathe. It can be during a walk when you listen to the wind or watch the trees move. Stillness is always available. It just needs to be chosen. When you sit in stillness, your nervous system begins to calm down. Your heart rate slows. Your thoughts begin to soften. You realize how fast your mind has been running and how tired your soul has been. This is the beginning of reconnection. Stillness creates space for Source to enter. It's like opening a window in a room that's been shut for too long. The light begins to come in. The air begins to move. Life starts to feel fresh again. Some people say they can't sit still because their mind won't stop. That's okay. Stillness is not about silencing the mind. It's about noticing the mind without becoming it. You sit, you breathe, and you let the thoughts come and go like passing clouds. You don't chase them. You don't fight them. You simply remain in the center, knowing that you are the sky, not the storm. In stillness, you start to hear the quiet voice of Source. It may not use words. It may come as a feeling of peace, a sense of knowing, a gentle nudge. This voice doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't pressure, it invites. And the more you sit with it, the stronger it becomes. Stillness also reveals what's been buried. Old fears may rise, grief may surface. That's not a sign of failure, it's healing. You are making room. You are clearing space for something greater to move through you. Let those emotions come. Let them move. And know that underneath it all, Source is holding you. One of the simplest ways to begin stillness is through the breath. Your breath is a bridge between your body and your soul. When you breathe deeply, slowly, and consciously, you remind yourself, I am here, I am safe, I am connected. You don't need fancy techniques. You just need to return to the breath, return to the moment, return to your center. Over time, this stillness becomes a sanctuary, a place inside you that nothing can touch. You carry it with you into your day, into your work, into your relationships, and even when life feels loud, that sacred silence remains. It becomes your anchor, your compass, your quiet path back to Source. You don't need fancy words to talk to Source. You don't need to be perfect or say a special prayer. All you need is honesty and a heart that's open. When you speak to Source, speak simply. Speak like you would to someone who loves you deeply, because that's exactly who you're speaking to. Source already knows your heart, but there is great power in choosing to speak it aloud. You can begin with words like, help me, I'm ready, I feel lost, or even just thank you. These are not weak words, they are sacred. What matters is not how you say it, but that you mean it. Speak from your truth, not from what you think you're supposed to say. Source responds not to performance, but to presence, not to formality, but to feeling. When you talk to Source, You bring light into dark places. You open doors that fear had closed. And you remind yourself that you are not walking through life alone. This simple act of reaching out with intent creates a shift. You begin to feel guided again. You begin to feel seen. The noise of the world may still be there, but it no longer drowns out your deeper knowing. Let your words carry your desire. Let them carry your longing to feel peace, to feel love, to feel whole. Say what's on your heart. Cry if you need to. Laugh if you feel joy. Be real, be raw, be you. That's how connection deepens. Not by trying to be holy, but by being honest. And you don't have to wait for a special moment. You can talk to Source while doing the dishes, while walking, before bed, or while driving. Every moment can be sacred if your heart is present. The more you make space for these conversations, the more natural they become, and the more connected you'll feel. Over time, speaking to Source becomes like breathing. You no longer have to think about it. It becomes part of your life, a constant thread that grounds you, supports you, and brings you back when you wander. That thread is always there. You only have to pick it up. When you are connected to Source, something beautiful begins to happen. Your eyes change. You begin to see the sacred in everything. The tree outside your window becomes a message of life. The stranger's smile becomes a moment of grace. Even the ordinary becomes extraordinary when you see it with a connected heart. This doesn't mean you ignore pain or pretend everything is perfect. It means you start to notice how life is always offering something deeper. You start to sense that every moment carries a message, a rhythm, a purpose. You begin to walk through life with more awareness, more appreciation. Not because life has changed, but because you have. Seeing the sacred doesn't require anything big. It begins with noticing small things, the way the sunlight touches your skin, the way your breath fills your chest, the sound of laughter, the taste of your food. These are not just parts of your day, they are invitations. Each one is a gentle reminder that you are alive, that you are supported, that you are deeply connected to something greater than yourself. The sacred is not only in beauty, it's also in the moments that challenge you, the argument that teaches you patience, the delay that reminds you to slow down, the heartbreak that cracks you open to deeper love. These moments may not feel sacred at first, but they carry deep meaning. When you are connected to Source, even your pain becomes a pathway. Treat your life like a ceremony, not with pressure, but with presence. Let your actions reflect care. Let your words carry kindness. Let your attention be your offering. The more you honor the sacred, the more sacred your life becomes. And when you begin to see life this way, fear begins to fade. You stop feeling like everything is random or against you. You begin to feel the quiet hand of grace in everything. That's not illusion. That's truth. It's what has always been there, waiting for you to notice. When you are truly connected to Source, the first thing you begin to feel is safety. A deep, unshakable sense that you are held, that you are not walking alone, that no matter what's going on around you, you are supported from within. This feeling doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from knowing you are loved without condition. So many people are walking through life scared of failing, scared of rejection, scared of being alone. And when that fear takes over, it becomes hard to trust anything. It becomes hard to move forward. That's why reconnection is so powerful. Because when you feel safe inside, everything else begins to relax. Your body softens, your mind quiets down, your choices become clearer. Safety is not about having everything figured out. It's about feeling grounded even when you don't. It's about having an anchor in a world that keeps changing. That anchor is your connection to Source. And once you feel it, you start to live differently. You stop forcing things. You stop trying to prove your worth. You stop chasing things that don't feed your soul. Instead, you begin to move with purpose. You begin to rest when you're tired. You begin to speak up when it matters. You begin to trust that life is unfolding with you, not against you. The shift is subtle at first. It might feel like a quiet calm, a moment of ease, a breath that feels deeper. But over time, that shift grows. You begin to smile more. You begin to feel lighter. Even in the middle of challenges, you feel a peace that doesn't leave you. That peace is the sign you're connected. And from that place, your life begins to change. Not because everything becomes perfect, but because you're no longer ruled by fear. You are guided by love, and love leads you where you're meant to go. As your inner world becomes more aligned, you'll begin to notice changes in the world around you. These changes may be small at first, a kind word from someone, a door opening unexpectedly, a problem resolving on its own. These are not coincidences, they are reflections, signs that your new energy is starting to shape your experience. The world is not punishing you or rewarding you, it's mirroring you. When you live in stress, life reflects that back. When you begin to live in peace, life begins to soften. The people around you respond differently. Opportunities feel more aligned, challenges feel less overwhelming. This is the natural response of a world that reflects your internal state. It's important to be patient. The mirror of life has a slight delay. What you believe today may not show up immediately, but keep trusting. Keep showing up. Keep aligning with love and truth. Over time, the reflection catches up, and when it does, you'll recognize it. You'll see that your outer world now looks more like your inner world. Peaceful, guided, aligned. This is why the inner work matters so much, because no amount of effort can override a disconnected heart. But when you are connected, your actions carry power, your words carry weight, your presence changes a room. You don't have to push, you don't have to force, you simply have to be, and the mirror of life will respond. The most beautiful truth is that you don't have to go far to reconnect. You don't need to travel or change your life overnight. You simply have to return to yourself, to your breath, to the quiet presence within. This power has always been yours. It was never taken from you. It was just forgotten. Every time you choose to slow down, to breathe deeply, to be present, you are returning. Every time you speak honestly to Source, you are returning. Every time you choose peace over panic, trust over control, you are returning. These small choices carry great power. They are how you begin to live in alignment again. And the more you return, the more natural it becomes. You begin to live from your center. You begin to walk with trust. You begin to lead with love. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, about remembering that the deepest strength doesn't come from doing, it comes from being connected. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to deserve it. You only have to choose it. That is the invitation before you now. The invitation to stop running, to stop chasing, and to come home. To the place inside you where Source has always been. All along, you've been looking for something that was never lost. The peace you want, the love you crave, the clarity you seek, it all flows from your connection to Source. And that connection was never broken. It may have been buried. It may have been quiet. But it has always been there. You are not disconnected. You are not lost. You are simply remembering. Each moment you choose presence, each time you return to stillness, each word you speak with honesty brings you closer to the truth. You are already home. The shift is not in the world. The shift is in you. And when you feel it, everything begins to change. You begin to live from your soul. You begin to trust your journey. You begin to see the sacred in the simple. And you begin to realize that you were never separate. You were always meant to connect with Source, and now you are ready.